everybody. We are back. It is Monday morning at a beautiful 11 a.m. And it's time to get shit started. How was your week, John?
Pretty good. Pretty groovy, actually. Got a lot done this week.
Nice. What you got going on?
Rejoined a gym, so my body hates me.
But you're actually going, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't fall into the curse meme that everyone goes to, which is they go and then they keep paying for it and then stop going.
No, it's already April, so like I'm well past the resolution breaking point. Yeah, no, this is I'm actually going to the gym.
Good. Well, that's something I need to start doing. I need to get at least into the dieting again, because I did that for a good while.
Yeah.
Because in lieu of being able to exercise, there's nothing wrong with dieting.
No, it makes a huge
dieting
impact.
Actually makes a huge impact.
Yeah.
On top of working out is the enhancement.
Yeah.
Whereas the dietary part is actually... Welcome to the Diet Podcast. No, but I need to get back into that. Because for a while I was really, really good about my diet, and then I just gave I gave up.
Yeah, it's hard to keep a diet going. Harder than the gym, I think, because eating fatty snacks is fun.
Delicious. It is. What else you got
on? Mastered some of the tracks off my EP last night. Hopefully I'll have that out by July at the latest, because there is a narrative change now, so some of the songs are getting dropped, and I'm adding new songs.
There you go.
Yeah. What else? Oh, started watching 2 new animes. That was kind of cool.
Oh, what'd you get?
Kill la Kill and JoJo's, which is
nice.
Fantastic.
Hell yeah. Those are both really, really good ones.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I started writing a little semi-autobiographical, mostly fictional embellishment of...
I thought you were going to say It's Always Sunny for some reason. I don't know why I thought I was hearing that for some reason, but go on.
It's called Trips I've Taken, which is like...
is that a play on words?
In a sense, because it's not like journeys I've gone on in the physical sense. It's like things that I've done or experienced while on certain mind-altering chemicals.
Right.
Yeah. But some of it's about going places and, doing these things. But got about 10 stories that I think are pretty interesting. A few more if I need to fill out. But, yeah. So I started on that the other day.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty productive week. Yeah.
Is it something that you're actually thinking about getting published?
Yeah. Once I finish everything, I'll look to ship it around.
And then you can plug it here.
Yes, I could.
I hear that getting a book published is one of the hardest fucking things, because very much like people trying to submit a manuscript to like a producer.
Yeah.
It usually just ends up in the trash can of most people's
things.
It's just really tough. And, rejection in the art form is like one of the most common things, and it really does suck, because a lot of... that's why you can't give up. It's why I've been doing this for a really long time, and I wouldn't say that we're necessarily, pulling Markiplier numbers, but we're doing pretty good, and everything's been nice with this. But at the same time, it's because of not giving up. I did the Let's Play thing for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing, different YouTube stuff for forever now. And now this. And you just really can't give up. It's the same thing with Iron Maiden, man. I'm comparing us to them. I'm just saying that...
Yeah, we're better.
Got them. Their story, of never giving up. They kept giving their demo to the local DJ who would, play at the metal nights at the local club. And the dude just did not want to give him the light of day. He admittedly in their documentary was just like, he just give a fuck less. This Steve Harris guy just kept giving me this tape, and I just kept being like, "No, I'm good, man." And like he said, then one night, I decided to give it a spin. It was the shit, and obviously here they are now. He goes,
"Joke's on you, son." Yeah.
But he did eventually give them a chance, and it's one of those things. You gotta take rejection in stride, and then don't take it that it necessarily detracts from your talents, or that you're not any good at it, So
yeah, you can't let it destroy your life.
Exactly. So I hope that, things go well for you in the writing thing, and, hopefully this continues to do well. And, it's just one of those things where adversity is not always a negative, well, not entirely negative thing.
Yeah.
So what else you got? What else? Anything else?
No, that's it for me. What about you?
Got a new Switch over there, which is in the distance, so you probably didn't see it when you first came in.
I noticed the Pikachu. I saw it.
I got the light up dock for it. But Switch, loving it. putting it off for a while. So the Switch is one of those things where people had questioned its potential at the very beginning. That doubt died very quickly once the console exploded and did well. But a lot of people doubted it, and I can't blame them. The Wii U is one of those things where the Wii U wasn't inherently bad. People just gave it a bad rep. What happened is it was a mix of, and I've talked about this in several of the Let's Play videos, which no one can ever find anymore because I took all those down. But it's one of those things where the mismarketing of it was the problem. Nintendo didn't do a very good job. A lot of people thought it was an updated controller for the Wii, thinking that, well, I already own a Wii, I don't really need this, so on and so forth. And then, of course, the Switch is basically the imagined full concept of what they wanted the Wii U to be. Because, to be fair, it basically is the Wii U kind of just super enhanced and, taken in full. It's like the Wii U was the beta, and then they went on full with the Switch.
The Switch is
and that was basically it. But I'll never forget what Pat from Castle Super Beast said ages ago. Because he called it... I don't care what anybody else says. I didn't hear anyone else call this, and I keep track of a lot of that shit. Social media, both professionals and people I know personally.
Yeah.
No one ever called it better than Pat, where when the Wii U had basically almost sunk Nintendo, actually caused them to file for bankruptcy, Pat, Wooly, and Matt had all talked about it back under the guys when they were still super best friends play, and they were talking about how is Nintendo, what power plays do they need to make to survive this, and they all had really good ideas. And I'll never forget, because Pat... I gotta find the exact video or podcast where he said it, because he nailed it on the head. Pat said, the only way Nintendo's gonna survive is if they're able to make a console that can be portable HD that you can also play at home. He said, if they do this, Nintendo will be able to turn everything around and get back on track. Because, again, the console was not bad. It had, some great games. Star Fox, despite Platinum being forced to use the controller a little too much, was the biggest issue with that, was the dependency on the controller. Mm-hmm. Most of the games that were dependent on using the controller in an awkward way was the problem. And, but they still had great games like Bayonetta 2 and Wonderful 101. Obviously, I'm just naming Platinum games, but those were great. That's one of the things that really carried the thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mario Kart is awesome, and so is the Smash. The new Smash on that one was amazing.
Yeah.
It was still tough, though, because despite having a pretty decent library, they still had a tough time because they were competing against the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, which obviously on a technical level was a little more powerful, but a bit more powerful. But the funny thing is, at least at one point, I'm sure that's not the case anymore, or maybe it is, but at one point, the Wii U actually had more 1080p 60 frames games than PlayStation and Xbox combined. Because that's the funny thing. PlayStation 4, even now, with the Pro and the Xbox One X, both of those consoles always flex the ability to run games at 1080 plus, 4K, whatever, at 60 frames, 30 I think for 4K, and then 60 for 1080. But the funny thing is, barely any of the games have that. You have the biggest lie ever, which was Killzone for PlayStation 4, which actually went to court because it lied about the specs on it. It lied what it was going to run at. It was fucking 720, right, I think barely, at 60.
Yeah.
But it was a fucking 720p game, and you're talking about entering this next level of console gaming, and then again, it did kind of promise that capability, but didn't deliver. Fucking most PS3 games run at fucking 720, you know what I mean? And then 30 or 60, it really varied on the PS3, but it was still pulling PS3 performance, just graphically better.
Yeah.
But that was it, and it's just one of those things where the Wii U was even outperforming this on a technical stance. Like Bayonetta 2 looked better than most of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games at the time. But anyways, getting back on task, I really do like the Switch, because what the Switch did is it didn't give up on Nintendo's innovation and gimmickness, like how it does with the remotes and everything. Mm-hmm. But what it does is it allows for the ability for people who just want to play games more straightforward, like I do, the ability to ignore those gimmicks and the game still run just as well and be fun and enhanced in some ways, quote unquote, for those who are into the gimmick stuff. And I just think it's really cool. I think Nintendo really hit their stride with it. I'm glad that it's doing well. It was the portable console that was finally able to kill off the Nintendo 3DS. Not that I wanted it to, but the whole point is the Nintendo 3DS has been around since 2012. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where it's... Or no, before 2012, because that's when the Wii U came out.
Well, the 3DS.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
Because the 3DS and the DS are night and day in terms of what it can run. That's like comparing the regular Game Boy to the Game Boy Advance. You can't... It's not the same thing, despite sharing the namesake. But... The Switch is definitely a great console to get, and again, it's the platinum push that kind of made me go get it. Once they announced Astral Chain, and then of course they had already announced Bayonetta 3, and then they also announced that Wonderful 101's being ported to it. I was just like, that's it. I was like, they're porting all my favorite Wii U games, and then adding a lot more, plus they have that full platinum backing support since... PlayStation 4's since PlayStation's a little bit fucky sometimes, even though they did have Nier, which was great, and then Xbox One, that's the whole thing. But Switch is definitely looking like the most promising of the three consoles right now, so that's why I'm on board with it. I mean, I with all these games coming out, I actually have more I'm excited for on the Switch than I do any of the other two, so I think that it was the right move to make at the time in terms of my interests. Mm-hmm. Plus, the ability to take it to go is just so goddamn convenient. I know PlayStation dropped that app for iOS, and I think even with Android, though, I would still be hard-pressed to use... Because there's a difference between streaming portable play on a goddamn phone touchscreen and then just having a console there that you can really just drop in and play at home or take it with you, and it's the actual console itself. That's why I love my DS, not just a streaming thing. Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, they announced that I think the 3DS has like another year or so of life support left before they kill it off. But it had a good run. And if there was ever a console to kill it off, the Switch was definitely a deserving one. Yeah. But yeah, enough droning on about that. I really do like my Switch. Getting into the non-related gaming news, John Cho announced as Spike Spiegel in the upcoming Cowboy Bebop movie, alongside Mustafa Shakir and as Jet and Daniela Pineda as Faye. So I don't know, it's interesting. I think that regardless of the direction it goes, it was going to be better than the Keanu Reeves one for sure. So I think that that was a good move already. But I don't know. I still think that there's not many or very good live-action anime adaptations. So in that sense, it has nothing to do with the casting. I just think that in general, the ability to pull off such a movie, I don't know what to think about it.
Is it a movie or a series? It's a movie?
I thought it was a movie.
I thought it was a series.
But go ahead, John. Talk to the audience while I look this meme up real quick.
I think you're right. Doing a live-action anime is always going to be difficult.
Oh, I'm fake news. It is a Netflix series.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
So I'm fake news. Okay, go on.
I love Bebop. Bebop is my favorite, and it always tops my, whatever number of favorite anime lists. Big fan. I always like to go back and watch the series, because it's just a cool fucking series. That being said, it's going to be hard to do it for a number of reasons. Casting Spike, casting I think is a big point, because these are some pretty heavy boots to fill. Steve Bloom established this character as an icon almost. Spike is he's recognized by a lot of people, even to the point where it's like, oh, that's that guy who plays Spike. You don't recognize Steve Bloom. I like John Cho. I do. I'm a big fan of his work. I think he's a great actor. He's definitely proven. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in right there. I just wanted to say real quick that before I forget, he's definitely proven that he can do more than just comedy. Oh yeah, which is nice,
of
course.
And this is what that's going to need. It's going to need both.
Yeah, I don't know if he's Spike material, and that's not to say anything against his merit. It's just that I have such a high regard for it that it's going to be interesting to see his take.
Now, is Netflix the right audience, do you think? Because Netflix is made up of, obviously, a ton of people. You have the moms and the grandmas who watch their whatever's on there, and then you have the youths when they're not playing Fortnite. They are watching Netflix. Netflix is the most...
Bloody hell.
In my opinion, it's not the best streaming format, but it's the McDonald's of streaming formats where it's accessible and it's got enough of everybody,
Yeah. Over 1 billion served.
You have your more boutique streaming services like Crunchyroll, Viki, Hulu, more specialized formats. And you have Netflix, which is a little bit of everything. Actually, it does have a little bit of each of the services. A little bit of Korean drama, a little bit of anime, a little bit of original, a little bit of American content, and so on and so forth.
I like that you include Korean drama in there, because Netflix is where I saw Train to Busan originally, so
yeah,
I will give it that regard. I think Netflix might be, if not the perfect one, the best for what we have, because a show can really explore what it wants to do on Netflix. There's not a lot holding it back besides the usual censorship restrictions, just don't go too out there with it.
Right.
Which Bebop doesn't. They show Bebop on there now.
So, okay, but let me focus my question a bit more, just because I feel like I asked a really broad one.
Yeah.
Are the only people who are going to watch this show be the anime crowd? Or even better of a question, how many new fans is this going to garner that are not, or have never seen Cowboy Bebop? Like, how many, Janet at work at, 34, mom, single, grew up as a jock in high school and stuff like that, has no relation to nerddom at all.
Yeah.
Is she gonna scroll past this trailer and find it intriguing, do you think?
Doubt. Like,
okay, so this is more so for the fans. This is a show for the fans, voted by the fans, because
I think it's I didn't looking over Twitter, the Bebop stands are kind of like, I guess.
Yeah, but the anime elitists are always assholes, so that's the worst.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the actually crowd.
I know.
So that's the worst one to gauge a reaction on, because they'll hate everything.
Yeah, no, and I am a Bebop stan, but I'm still going to watch it. I'm going to give it a chance, of course. But I think this is more for the casual anime watcher, verging more into the actually crowd. But not quite there. Not the purists. But not the mainstream either. No. It will be mainstream to a certain degree. You'll get your sci-fi lovers, because of course it'll be slated in the sci-fi genre of Netflix. It'll probably be an anime just because the live action, and it is a live action anime. So you get that crowd.
But are people who are into Jersey Shore is this gonna appeal to the outsiders?
Possibly. Just because John Cho and yo man, I fucking loved you in White Castle.
So Netflix, and I guess just in general, people have just started to kind of delve into Netflix originals in general.
I think there's a blending. I think it's hard to categorize people into those kind of 90s ideologies. Like you said, the Jocko. Well, I mean, certain jocks like anime. Like it's almost become a meme in itself. Like.
Right.
Like, there's that picture of the big buff dude, super swole jack guy. I'm going to make this cute anime girl my AVI.
That's true.
Yeah. I think it'll reach a broader audience, but not as broad as what they'd probably hope for.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Say that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, give you the fucking 10th degree of fucking hell on that. I was just curious in your opinion, because I think both of us are kind of in that median where we're not true nerd, but we're also not shy from it, and then we're also not really, we're definitely far from mainstream.
Yeah, is Janet from accounting gonna watch Cowboy Bebop, the live action? Probably not. I don't think she's gonna pop open her bottle of Pinot and, spend a night at home watching that. But is Steve from the mailroom gonna watch it? Maybe.
Yeah, adaptations have always had a kind of a weird thing. Even in Japan, where they do tend to do it well, there's been lots of cases of bad and lots of and a few cases of good, right? I mean, you have Death Note on Netflix, the American series, Jesus Christ. Oof. And then you have then I know I said Japan and then I skipped back to American actually because I forgot to make that example, but then you have, even in Japan, you have the Attack on Titan movie, which is fucking one of the worst things I've ever watched in my life. And then you have the Kenshin movie, which is one of the best things I've ever seen. That's one of the greatest adaptations of all time. All three films are extremely well done, and I dare I say I enjoy it more than the actual Kenshin anime. I mean, it's just really, really good. So you never know. Live action adaptations is more of a miss than a hit, but never necessarily not a hit. So we'll see where it goes. Got good backing, though. I know that the initial director of the first few episodes, at the very least, is going to be the director of Daredevil and Luke Cage. So,
when you said Daredevil, I thought the movie.
Did the movie.
Yeah. No, Luke Cage the movie.
Of the Netflix shows. So
okay, good.
He did pretty good work, so good thing he got a job immediately after not having that. So
thanks, Netflix. Oh, right. Let's see how long
Netflix.
It lasts.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Netflix.
Well, Netflix isn't shy for canceling series, so I think that it'll definitely be very telling very soon.
Yeah, we touched on that last time. I don't think it's not necessarily Netflix. It's more so the parent company of those other two properties.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we also have David Harbour of Stranger Things fame being attached to the Black Widow movie as an unknown character. Not much to say there. David Harbour's a cool guy. Hellboy.
I'm so excited for his take on Hellboy.
Yeah, no, I think it looks really good. I think if someone's going to take over from Ron Perlman, it's going to be David Harbour. David Harbour is the guy right now. I mean, he's really good. Stranger Things 3 is coming out on 4th of July.
Yeet.
And then Hellboy looks great. And so we'll see who plays the Black Widow. I don't know enough about Black Widow. I don't know where your knowledge goes on that. Is there anyone you think David Harbour might play?
Not enough.
It's probably going to be OCs, right? These are probably going to be a lot of OCs in the Black Widow movie.
I have no idea. I don't know anything
about Black Widow.
I just found it because I was reading Death of Captain America because I read through Civil War again, and I just found out that her and Bucky were like a thing back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, cool. That would have been neat in the MCU to have that little tie-in there, little love triangle jealousy. Take that, Cap stands. But no, I have no idea who Harbour could play. Like I know nothing about Black Widow.
All right. Yeah, just curious, but I do like the news. David Harbour, cool guy.
No, it adds clout, I guess.
Now going into more questionable territory, we seem very sure about those first two things. Now, how about the Joker trailer? Because that one's been met with very different reception, but I don't want to give you any lead in on that.
It's a big
so
old
you
50-50. Let me take a sip here.
There you go. Sip of tea.
I love DC. In case you guys couldn't tell on my Marvel or my Marvel discussions, so everyone always says that Ledger didn't live up to Nicholson's Joker and yada yada yada. Well, I say everyone, but my core of nerd group fans. I disagree. I think both are great in their own right. And I think that Joaquin Phoenix took a lot of inspiration from Ledger's Joker, which I agree with because I feel that Ledger's Joker is the better of the two, is a little more zany and out there, not delving into the three Jokers theory. It's difficult to tell what exactly is going on. You know, you have him bathing his mom. My mom says always put a smile on your face. Is this Gotham? Is this 70s New York? I can't tell what the narrative is going to be from the trailer alone. And I like that and I don't like that. Because is this just hyper realistic beyond the point of Nolan's Batman's? Is this even a Batman story? I mean, yeah, it has the DC title, but what am I getting here? And I think that's where a lot of people are kind of griping. The trailer doesn't tell us enough to know what we're getting. Yeah, it's a Joker movie, but what kind of Joker movie?
Right.
Like, is it just a pure origin? And how do you have a Joker origin without Batman? Is there going to be a Batman in this?
Well, I mean, if anything's been proven that you can have a Batman thing, I wouldn't say necessarily without Batman, but at least not focused on him, is Gotham.
Yeah.
Now, Gotham started off really shitty, but got very good. And, I don't know, I think it's possible.
No, of course, because these characters existed before Batman.
Yeah. And so I don't know what to expect from it. DC's overly, so you have Marvel's bubbly, bright take on everything, whereas DC always goes for noir, gritty,
which is funny because Marvel noir
dark
is a thing.
Stuff. But it's always hard to tell whether or not it's going to be a hit or not, because DC has had their fair shares of ups and downs. And I think
it's more a lot of downs and then they're finally getting up.
I mean, it depends. It depends on how you view that, because
I guess
because Wonder Woman was
true.
Good. So I mean,
I always forget about, not that I have anything against it, I just forget because it's just like, cool, it's a Wonder Woman movie, and it was great, but there's so much they left out. There's so much more that Diana is that
but it's also a 2-hour movie. You could argue that everything left out. I mean, not everyone, excuse me, a lot of comic book elitists hated the first Avengers because they left a bunch of shit out, so...
That's true. I love the first Avengers. But then again, I love Justice League. I think Justice League was a fantastic movie.
So that's one of those things where that's definitely a mixed bag, too. I know a ton of people who hated it, but honestly, I didn't think it was as terrible as everybody was saying. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I don't know if people were saying that it was just terrible just to be contrarian and just to be like... Because there are a lot of fans out there who are basically like... I mean, movie-going fans, not really comic book purists.
Yeah.
Who are like, it's not Marvel, it sucks. And they will hate anything DC that comes out, whether or not it's warranted.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But with Wonder Woman and Aquaman being good, I mean, this is one of those things where you also have Suicide Squad and... You know, so...
Suicide Squad was just...
I actually enjoyed Suicide Squad until this stupid-ass Ghostbusters ending.
See...
That to me is when the movie shat the bed all of a sudden.
My biggest gripes with Suicide Squad are the overusage of a soundtrack that felt like, this 15-year-old dude that just smoked pot for the first time was like, I love these songs, and like, okay, cool, man, you just found out who the Rolling Stones are, I'm proud of you. It's like he put it on a classic rock station and was like, yeah, I like this, and this. And the script and the writing overall, the narrative was fucking terrible. I love the casting. DK Harbour's in it. Yeah, what up, David Harbour? I like Amanda Waller's casting. I thought Will Smith's Deadshot was good. I'm interested to see Idris Elba's take. Yeah. In fact, I'm very excited for that. Margot Robbie was great. Jai Courtney as Digger Harkness was great. I don't really know too many names of the rest of the cast. I felt Killer Croc was criminally underused.
He was.
Diablo was kind of shoehorned in there. I love Cara Delevingne, but as Enchantress, it just felt like the biggest MacGuffin to have the villain come out ever.
Yeah,
like it's just the writing was so bad. That's what
that's the part.
That's what crippled the movie. Is it's terrible script.
Yeah. But, so yeah, we'll see about Joker. I don't know. It's a little too early to say. But,
yeah,
good old Plague of Gripes, who did our art and also does art for a lot of other people, including, he has to Super Best Friends play. He did have a couple of good things where points where I did agree with him, where the movie has the potential to be good as long as the executives stay out of it, as they should in most movies.
Yeah.
And as long as that the people who didn't cut that trailer together don't do the thing where they cut most of the interesting scenes into the trailer, and then the movie's a bunch of nothing else, which most movies nowadays has. I'm just getting tired of it. I'm really sick of all these fucking 5-minute trailers. Like, for example, if I go... Not that this is definitely not going to be the case, but I'm just giving an example of what if. If I go to see Avengers Endgame, and literally the only good scenes are what was super cut into those fucking trailers, that's the fucking worst. And that's happened before. Not with Avengers, but with a movie before where... I think it was one of the latest Jurassic Park movies where all the good scenes were in the trailer, and I swear to God, I watched that movie and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Kingdom Part, yeah. And in between, you just have a lot of exposition and quipping back and forth between...
Well, pointless exposition. Exposition's fine if
it's
done well.
No, I don't think Avengers would do that. In fact, we just saw Thanos in the last teaser, so... Which was, everyone was like, well, is Thanos even going to be... Well, yeah, no shit, Thanos is going to be in this. But
No, but I was talking about Joker, though.
No, I know. I'm just using that as an example. Like, yeah, no, I don't think Joker's doing that. I don't think they're going to splice in any of the important things. And I think that's what a lot of people are having tentative feelings about it, because they're not giving away anything, which is good, but it also doesn't give you anything to latch onto.
Right.
They're banking a lot on the name and Joaquin Phoenix, who's a great casting choice. But not giving away too much in the trailers kind of creating a bit of unease, if you will.
Which I think could be intentional, so we'll see what they do.
Yeah, it really works for the character.
Yeah, so, I don't know, that could be good. What else do we got here? Let's see. Before we're really going to get into the gaming news soon, because we're almost at 30 minutes, and, and we're still talking about non-gaming shit.
It's
but
gonna be a long one.
Just to wrap it up, I was going to make a comment about... So... Apple's been doing this funny thing lately where... So, I don't know if you remember a few months ago where Apple was having the thing where people were... If you called someone on FaceTime... So, say we both had iPhones and I called you, right?
Yeah.
Calling on FaceTime. and before you even answer, I can already hear, like, you're like, if you were like, you know, doing God knows what in the other room or in your room, and your phone is just on, or you're sleeping, for example, and I'm trying to FaceTime you.
Yeah.
It just instantly opened like a preview connection, if you will, and I can just hear everything on the other side.
Who wants it? Who's that for?
Now, so Apple claims that was a glitch or a mistake or whatever, but I almost see what they were going for, where it's kind of like knocking on the door, you know, you can kind of already hear what's on the other side, but you still knock as a courtesy or to get someone's attention or whatever else, right?
True.
But how, I don't know, like, I also believe it could have just been bad programming, because, like, why would that be a good idea? Like, there's a reason you don't pick up sometimes, because you don't want to. I could be taking a shit, I could be doing whatever else.
That makes me think of that part in Demolition Man with, you know, they have that FaceTime, like the telescreen calls, and he calls that, or he picks up a phone from that one lady when he's in her apartment and she's topless, and it's like,
kind of like that,
it's a joke. Yeah, like, that's one of the risks you run with technology like that.
Right, so that part's old news, but still funny news. So there was that thing. But Apple's just been overcompensating tenfold, because in their latest commercials that have been coming out lately, legit, like, the tagline is always like, privacy. Nobody does it better than Apple, am I right? And I'm just like, is there a more ironic statement than security and Apple going hand in hand?
Oof.
I just think that shit was absurd. They were just, I mean, if overcompensating, you know, had a picture next to it in the dictionary or an animated GIF or GIF next to it, it would be that one.
Trying to own up to their mistake by self-deprecation, huh?
Basically. Oh, no, not even. They're basically just like, yeah, no, it didn't happen, though. Because they're legit. It's not like, okay, so if Apple said, someone did this ad campaign in the past, and maybe they did at one point, I just missed them, and I'm just seeing these ads now. But people have done it in the past where people go, yo, look, I know when that happened, that wasn't good. But, yo, we're going to strive, move forward, and go on from here. But no, these are not doing. If it did that, I'd be like, okay. But this is what these are doing. These are just like, Apple. Nobody's more secure than us, am I right? And I'm just like, no, but you're not, though. But, like, actually, that was just a few months ago where that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
No, but now nobody's more secure than us.
Even if they did that, I would have been more okay. Just the fact that they just, like, ignore history.
Trying to gloss over
is just, looking the worst.
Oh, Tim Apple.
Yeah, Tim Apple, goddamn you. And then finally, last non-gaming related news on the docket is JR of WWE fame is actually going to be joining All Elite Wrestling. I haven't watched All Elite Wrestling, but apparently it's like the shit. Like, it's actually really good. You have good wrestling, like New Japan Pro, and right now that's probably one of the better circuits just because Ring of Honor kind of shit the bed and whatever else. But apparently All Elite Wrestling's really good, so nice to see that JR's getting in there, getting his dues still, and staying the fuck away from WWE, which is good, because all I remember the last time I ever turned on WWE is just seeing flossing for like 5 minutes, so I just decided that wasn't a thing anymore.
I have no
but
input.
Good on JR for getting in on a good gig, so good on him, man. JR's a cool guy.
Do people still smell what The Rock is cooking? Is that a thing?
No, people just smell what The Rock is acting in, but no, but honestly, I do like The Rock.
Black Adam?
I do like The Rock.
Careful.
He's going to be a good Black Adam, I think.
No, I think he's going to be a great Black Adam.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Oh, man, I'm going to go see Shazam today.
I think hell yeah. I think the last movie I saw him in was fucking Jumanji, goddammit.
Which isn't bad.
No, it's not. It's fucking Karen Gillan, Jack Black, and... So, the thing I didn't like about that movie was just... That's a personal thing, where I just don't like movies where the kid is... You have this kid who's living this fantasy world, like... Fucking Forbidden Kingdom, which I really did like, but I hated that aspect of it.
Yeah,
Jackie Chan and Jet Li was cool though. But
that was a great movie. Yeah,
it was pretty good overall. So, all right into the gaming news. For those of you who haven't turned this off yet, we're not hearing any gaming news for the first 30 minutes. We thank you for sticking by.
Thank you.
So let's get right into it. So, Persona 5 Royal we talked about before. The new announcement that's going to be expanded upon later this month is Persona 5S, which a lot of people are assuming is going to be the Switch port of Persona 5, which would make absolute sense considering that Joker's already going to be in Smash anyways. So that would be very good. Persona 5, one of the greatest RPGs of all time, quite possibly the best Persona game, and has what I consider to be the best menu and HUD of all time in a video game. finally coming to the rightful home of the Switch. Now that it's not rightful home isn't PlayStation, it's just Switch. I mean, come on. Why not? Switch is just so damn good.
It's a Switch Plug episode.
Yeah, it is. It's actually going to be for a while because I actually do have a few more Switch things.
Mild segue on that. I haven't been keeping notes on it. Is there any validity to Chief going to Smash?
Because of Microsoft's networking with Nintendo, the fact that they've been striking all sorts of deals, and the fact that Xbox Live is basically going to be the spinal cord for Nintendo's online services, it's possible.
Okay.
Microsoft's very open right now to... They've obviously... It's funny how there's that disconnect between PC and Microsoft, as if they don't make Windows. People talk about these things like it's not like already... People always say stuff like, oh man, can you believe that the Master Chief Collection is on PC now? It's like, yeah, I fucking can't believe it.
Yes.
Like, now if you said it was on Apple, that'd be crazy.
CE and Halo 2 were
now, if you could play it on a MacBook, that'd be wild. But
that'd be something.
But
why would you want to?
Windows is not that surprising.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible.
Okay.
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible that if this relationship continues, because Nintendo and Microsoft are playing so well together, they're like the best of chums who ever met. Yep. And a lot of people are kind of blaming Microsoft for being... and I don't mean to be a Microsoft apologist, it's just I feel like they don't... even though they're still my least favorite of the three, I still feel like they get more unnecessary guff than they deserve.
I agree.
Because they don't get praised for the innovations that they do on the tech side of things, which the other two... definitely play off of.
Because PlayStation has Flash to go along with it, they have the like. I
thought you meant like Flash programming. I'm sorry, that's where the nerd in me got.
No,
thrown off. I'm just like, there's Flash games on the PlayStation.
No.
Fuck? Why is that a compliment?
Like the glamour.
Okay. So the way I've always seen it is Microsoft is Android and PlayStation's Apple.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
That's a
PlayStation's just a bit shinier, and because of that, they get their dick sucked all the time. And then you have Microsoft, who has all these innovations in customization, like backgrounds, which took PlayStation how long to get?
3 years.
And just no one gets mad at them. It's like PlayStation promised all these things that weren't at launch on the PS4, or Sony promised these things that weren't on launch on PS4, and no one gave a fuck.
Yeah.
But Microsoft, mentioning the always online thing, deleted that way before the Xbox One even came out, and people are still to this day bringing up. You know how many of my friends, I so hesitated to call them friends. How many of my friends still think that the Xbox One is an always online console?
Yeah.
At least I can play my games offline. And I go, what? First of all, I have a PlayStation also, but second of all, what? What do you mean? Xbox. Okay, that's still tofu. Like, that makes no sense. Like, what the fuck? We're just saying words now? No, man. Like, Xbox has to be online to play games.
I have a feeling who you're talking about, too. That's funny.
What the fuck are you talking? PlayStation has to be on... PlayStation... God damn, I keep mixing the two. Xbox has to be online all the time?
See,
what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. Remember? No, I don't fucking... Yeah, I do remember. But I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, that got erased from humanity before the console even dropped.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah, look at this. Pulls out Ethernet cable, disconnects Wi-Fi. Yeah, see how my game's still going? See how Gears of War Remastered's still running, even though it shouldn't because Cliffy B? No, anyways. Gears of War Remastered is great. But anyways, you see how it's still going? Well, you don't have NAC. Yeah, I don't have NAC.
Neither does anyone else.
Fucking great. Fucking great. NAC. Hell, you want to play PlayStation Battle All-Star Battle Royale too? But anyways, not saying that PlayStation is exclusive. I'm being facetious, obviously. Yeah. But my point being is just like, this is the press, though. This is how the press works against it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I still think more people would have chose PlayStation over Xbox. I definitely would have. The only reason I got my Xbox was scaled down. But again, I feel like I do have to be an apologist for them simply because...
They get shit for no reason.
Exactly. But anyway, so yeah, I do think that it's possible you could see Master Chief in Smash, and I do think it's possible you could see the fucking CE on fucking...
Holy shit, I can take CE with me.
So, yeah, exactly. Imagine that to go. It's great. I mean, fucking Dark Souls Remastered runs great on the Switch. Doom is a great port. They got a lot of really good stuff. But that's the thing. I like the fact that that Switch isn't just focused on just ports, but when they do port them, they play pretty damn good.
Yep.
They scale really well. But going back to Persona 5S, gonna be cool to see that on there. I really, 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 really hope that's the case. So, we'll see. Man, it's crazy. Continuing the Switch plug, just because I shamelessly will plug the Switch if I can. It's interesting how, to date, the Wii U has still only sold about 15 million units and has been out since 2012. But the Switch has only been out for a couple years now. Not even. August 2017 is when it came out. And has already moved 32 million units. So congratulations to Nintendo on that.
No, they're
literally reversing it. And hopefully Bowser's able to continue Reggie's PRness and continues to go. Because what an appropriate name. I hope he didn't just get the job because of that name. But if that was the icing on the cake, Nintendo's kind of lived off the memes. So to continue that on the most extreme extent where it's actual dude's name, good stuff.
That's pretty choice. Yeah.
Monster Hunter dropped a high-resolution texture pack on PC. You gotta have some pretty beefy PC specs, though. Well, if you're running Monster Hunter, you should anyways. But looks gorgeous. I really, really hope that they drop that texture pack on maybe PS4 Pro. But we'll see from there. That'd be really, really cool. But, man, Monster Hunter, already a great-looking game, looking even more gorgeous with an HD texture pack being dropped. And, speaking of Nintendo being good playmates and sharing well, Phoenix Wright is actually finally hitting all the other consoles. Phoenix Wright HD Trilogy is going to be dropping on April 9th on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. So for those of you who have never been able to play Phoenix Wright before because you don't want to get a 3DS, what the fuck is wrong with you? Or you thought it was just going to be a Switch exclusive, now you guys can play it on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or Steam, depending on your weapon of choice. So that's really cool that Phoenix Wright is coming to different platforms. And hopefully, because unless I'm mistaken, someone correct me out there, but I'm fairly sure Phoenix Wright's only ever been on Nintendo stuff before.
The handhelds.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So this will be really cool.
No, this will be great, actually. Yeah,
the HD. That's the thing. People don't realize how the HD treatment on even something animated, like hand drawn animation like that, can look fantastic. It looks really clean. So it'll be nice playing it on my Switch docked or even on the go. And for anyone else who wants to play it on PlayStation and Xbox because you're not really a Nintendo person, there you go. You can try it out now. And even the PC Master Race gets it on there. So that's really, really cool. I'm actually excited by that news. When I heard that the HD collection was going to drop, obviously I knew it was going to be on Switch. But then when I heard about the other ones, I thought that was really, really awesome. So
good guy Nintendo.
Yep. You have an experience with the Phoenix Wright games? They're really good. If you haven't, I definitely would advise it. If you could drop,
play the first one because I like law. And
I want to be a lawyer. It's really fun. It's a cool mix of humor with some and investigation with some pretty good gameplay. So it's exciting.
No, it's cool stuff.
Pokemon Go announcing their summer events. I don't really play Pokemon Go that much anymore. Only in conjunction with Let's Go Eevee, pretty much, to get stuff for that. But it's cool that there's still a lot of people who seem to like it. Again, I get nostalgic of the times where it first came out, and I was really into it. So I'm almost jealous of people who still are able to openly enjoy it and still do fully. And I'm glad that Niantic and Nintendo are still supporting those people and doing stuff like this.
I still play. It's still going strong. It's I like their summer events or any event because it's almost guaranteed a shiny for whatever the choice Pokemon was.
That's cool.
The last one I got a shiny Trico.
Nice. So that's really awesome. I'm glad they're doing that. So
Pokemon's never really let me down or anyone.
Which is great. Which is great. That's why Pokemon's so beloved, I think.
Well, yeah, it brings people together. Like, I met some random stranger because his wife had her app open, and I was like, "Oh, cool. What team are you on?" And she was Valor, and I was Mystic, and we both started shitting on Instinct because that's what we do. And we took over their gym and had a nice little rivalry going back and forth there. And then her husband was like, "Hey, are you that guy that likes Pokemon?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he traded me Mr. Mime, which is a Euro exclusive, so that's kind of cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
Bringing people together.
There you go. And continuing the Slitch. The fuck is the Slitch?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
That's early morning. That's early morning recordings for you. But anyways, continuing the Switch news. Nintendo announcing they didn't announce fuck all yet. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Nintendo rumored to be launching 2 more versions of the Switch sometime in 2019. Ooh. You have an economy version, basically the equivalent of the 2DS, which I absolutely loved. I actually like the 2DS more than the 3DS. But the equivalent of that coming out, so for people who $299 is a bit steep, if they can shoot for a $199 price point and rival the 3DS price and get people to jump on the Switch train, there you go. Yeah. What I'm thinking is the only way they can really cut corners is it to be maybe a standalone Switch only without the docks, maybe a version of the Switch without removable controllers, something less modular because that's the only way they're going to be able to cut costs. That's the only way I can think of where they can cut costs.
I mean, that'd be fine. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the Joy-Con, but that's just because I'm a giant and have big, beefy hands.
Right.
So it's kind of awkward for me, but...
So basically turning it into a Vita, essentially, except with games, and it's good.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I think that's what the economy version is going to be like.
That'd be cool.
And then, of course, they have a souped-up version. Now, of course, a lot of people doubt that it'll be able to pull PS4 Pro or Xbox One X specs at all. But it's definitely expected to have enhanced RAM and other capabilities. So it'll definitely be the more powered-up version. The price point of that to be determined if either of these are true to come out, but... reliable insiders definitely reporting so, and so we're just waiting for the official Nintendo announcement. So
cool.
That'll be really, really cool. I'm excited for that. Another interesting thing is that in Japan, the Switch was actually able to successfully stream certain games that might not normally run on its hardware. Japan, this only works really overseas. So here in the States, because all the states are obviously spread out, basically it's like we have multiple, like 50 countries basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things where the internet infrastructure here is just not good. Plus whatever the internet companies are giving us for what we pay for is not worth it, obviously. Yeah. But overseas, especially in places like Japan and Korea, internet's next level. Standard availability and everything of internet is just next level. Mm-hmm. It's insane. So anyways, coming back to the point, what they were able to do on the Switch is they were able to... If you can stream games properly with an appropriate connection, you can run games that you otherwise maybe the hardware itself couldn't normally handle because the game would be running directly on board on the console. Mm-hmm. But if you're streaming, basically like streaming on your phone, games through your phone, like what we do here with the PlayStation app on iOS, you're able to run games that you normally couldn't. So basically there was a demo over in Japan where they were able to run Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Resident Evil 7 no problem on the Switch.
Nice.
Via streaming.
Yeah.
But of course, they have absurdly, good internet, or maybe what good internet should be like over there. So it's one of those things where that's only real possible in a region like that. Mm-hmm. But the potential's there, and it shows you how, even on something with lighter specs like the Switch, can run stuff. And stuff on it already looks good, but to be able to run it full HD or whatever would be really great, especially in a handheld sense. Yeah. So they're able to run tests like that there. It's definitely going to give Stadia and Microsoft's announced xCloud format a run for its money, because the problem is, and Stadia's been getting a lot of flack over it, is the fact that we just don't have the internet here to support it. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Something like Stadia or xCloud can work over in a place like Japan or Korea, but not here. The internet is just not good. Even in Canada, the internet, where the internet runs a lot better than it does here, still would have issues doing it. So you would need that,
do you think
that good shit?
What do you
in
think
terms of connections?
The almighty Google will make like a fiber tie-in or anything like that?
I mean, that's the thing, is that Google was already running it on their connection, and it was still running all right.
Oof.
And Google is probably the best internet you can get in the States.
No, it is, yeah.
So, yeah, it's just not... We're just not where we need to be for that kind of tech. But it's cool to see Japan pushing the envelope on that one. Yeah, no, it's really, really cool. So
come on, America,
cool
let's step our game up.
Yeah, I know. It'll be nice to see that. It's, again, dated towers and just how spread out everyone is.
Give me that Blade Runner future I've always dreamed of.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing we need.
Right.
That's what we really, really want in terms of internet services. But we'll see.
We'll get there.
Another thing that's been on the tongues of people lately, in lieu of Fallout 76 failing, is Outworlds has been brought up again, but unfortunately not exactly in the most positive light. First, let's talk about the good things with Outworld, is the fact that it looks great.
Yeah.
It's by the people who did New Vegas, and honestly, it looks like a better Fallout than Fallout's looked like since New Vegas, probably. So, I don't know, it looks really, really promising. It looks
it's cool. It's
technically great. It's just got that right vibe, Spaceland Fallout-ish type deal.
If you took Nuka World and threw it on Pluto.
Right, it looks really, really good. But unfortunately, there's one of many titles, a couple of which we'll talk about today, to hop on the Epic exclusive train. Where, on PC anyways, of course for console gamers could be a fuck less about any of this, but the thing is, the PC community is a very important one, and because of that, to pull moves like this isn't always the greatest thing, but a lot of people are disappointed with the fact that at least at the time being, it's going to be a exclusive for the Epic Store, which means that you do have to run the Epic Launcher and Store to run Outworlds. And unfortunately, it's not the only game that's going to be doing that, but it is one of the several games to this point that will be doing that. So, not really thrilled about that, unfortunately.
Well, that was my input on that, so...
Yeah, well, and the thing is, I don't blame... See, the way Epic's getting, like, people, besides having the Fortnite dollars to back it up, is they take less of a cut from the developers. And especially for independent developers like Obsidian, that's a big deal. Well, if you host your game on Steam, they take 30% of the cut. If you host your game on the Epic Games Store, they only take 12%.
Wow.
So, because of that generous undercutting of the Steam Store... I can't blame them, I guess, but it is just annoying because, again, we talked about this several times about whether it's streaming shows or movies via a million apps or launching different games on your computer via a million apps. It still sucks to have to split everything up like that, split your library up like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't blame it from the developer point of view because the cash stacks is nice.
No,
and whether we like to admit it or not, these are people's jobs. And it's not at least out of a corporate greed level of shit, it's just them trying to get the bang for their buck, and I can't blame them on that sense.
No.
I'm just getting tired of this, multi-launch exclusive shit.
Counter to what I said last time, maybe demonopolization might be a good thing for the foreseeable future. And it's not the worst, as long as it's not a paid service to join this,
Yeah, I agree. So... we'll see where it goes from there, but Outworld's is looking absolutely fantastic. So polished, and so it's nice to see that what Obsidian's been doing. And honestly, Fallout 76 couldn't have given it a better stage and limelight.
Seriously.
Than to kind of just fail as badly as it did. But on the opposite spectrum of not failing is the trailer for Darkborn. 15-minute gameplay trailer dropped recently. I think the game looks phenomenal. I think from a graphical extent, everything looks super good and polished. I think that the gameplay and premise is interesting. I think that there's just... as... it shouldn't sound so... it's kind of sad in a way how unique the game is. Because you get to play as the monster. You're, for once, not being the shoot bangs or the sword man chasing the monsters. You actually get to be the monster, and they still kind of humanize the monster in a way where the monster is clearly a good, the protagonist of the story, and not necessarily you're playing a demon.
Yeah.
You're actually playing
a victim.
An endangered creature, or in this case, yes, like you said, the victim.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that it's portrayed like that. The monster isn't a monster. If
that
makes
makes
sense.
It reminds me of being the volatile in Dying Light, but I like what they showed as far as the narrative goes. It's an interesting setting, semi-medieval, looks
Vikings.
Norse. Yeah.
One of the guys actually looks like the Dragonborn.
Yeah, I know.
There's
a couple Dovahkiins running around.
I mean, it does take place when you are going against the Vikings, so you can kind of guess the era that this is supposed to take place. I wonder if it has any ties to actual Viking mythology. I don't know, but
it's a big thing these days, so maybe
it looks really cool
research.
Now, here's the most impressive thing about it, is the fact that it's actually the developer's very first game. The Outsiders, a brand new studio. And for someone, this being their first game, I think that adds to how amazing it looks.
Yeah.
Because graphically, it is polished as hell.
That's promising. It makes me think that they're going to go all in with it and actually give a crap.
Exactly. The most important thing, of course, is going to be how the controls feel. Looks good. Looks like it would feel good when you're watching the gameplay demo.
Yeah.
But we'll see once we get a demo, or if we just have to wait till the actual product's in our hands. As far as I know at the moment, there's no given release date. But I'm keen to it. I think it looks really, really good. The different kill animations and fatalities and violence looks really, really nice.
I like how bloody it is. That actually draws me in. And the
kind of
story
like the whole
seems
MK
cool.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. I like violent video games.
There you go. As long as it's done well.
Yep.
And another thing I really love, as you know, I'm a stickler for HUDs of the game, is the minimalist HUD. You have your life bar and your power meter, and then the little objective telling you what to do, and that's it.
Yeah, I like that.
No unnecessary bullshit on the side. No fucking mini map. No
what do I need a compass?
No glowing bullshit. It just tells you where to go, and it uses the environment advantageously, where it looks open, but kind of limits you in a way, but not in a bad sense. More so they don't have to do glowing objective man. You know, they don't have the fucking
yellow
guy,
marking,
the guy glowing on the, you know, some Last of Us nonsense where the guys act like where the fucking objective's glowing in the distance or some shit like that. And you have to walk towards the glowing box.
Totally kills the immersion.
It does, and this game seems like it should all be all about immersion, and in that sense, it's very important that it's doing steps like that. So I'm really, really happy with that.
Yeah, same. I'd like to try it.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, lately, a new Power Rangers fighting game dropped recently, Battle for the Grid. It looked rough in the beginning, and post-launch, it seems like it's still going to continue to be rough, because it looks like a mobile game was actually just shit out onto on the console.
Ouch.
So it just looks really, really bad. It doesn't look like it can control as well. It has a very limited roster, and just in general, does not look like a good game. I don't know, it just looks fucking really rough. Graphically rough. It looks like it plays rough. I don't know. Fighting game community is not really digging it. So when you make a fighting game and the fighting game community is not liking it, that's usually not a good sign.
So it's a kill right there. You said it's Power Rangers?
Yeah.
I haven't played a good Power Ranger game since SNES. So
yeah, basically. Yeah. So it's been a hot minute, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The best Power Rangers game is actually not a Power Rangers game. It's Chroma Squad, which is a tactical-based unit thing that was inspired by, you know, Sentai and other tokusatsu. So that one's really good, but obviously not Power Rangers. So it's a shame, because a good Power Rangers game would be kind of cool. I don't know if they have anyone actually involved in Power Rangers in cahoots, Jason David Frank or anything. I don't know if any of them are involved in this game, but if I was involved in this game, I'd probably make very sure that I'm not involved for much longer. So we'll see. Developers of PUBG announcing that they have no intention to make a sequel to PUBG, nor do they even give a fuck anymore, essentially. I think that's the biggest problem, is the fact that the PUBG creator, so Pat, I think, had made this case on Castle Super Beast, where he was basically like, they have made so much money now, it doesn't even matter. Because they were kind of talking about the thing of, like, how does it feel that you started this Battle Royale trend and you are actually at the cutting loss of the entire thing instead of at the cutting edge, where Fortnite's shitting on you, Call of Duty's shitting on you, and everyone else took your game mode and just shit all over you. But he made a good point. He said, they don't care. He said, at this point, they've made so much money that it doesn't even matter. These guys don't have to work on another game in their lives and will live royally for the rest of it. They've made so much money off PUBG Mobile and PUBG proper. Yeah. So that's a shame.
Yeah, but isn't that
when a developer gets to that point where they just... I also can't blame them. It's like getting robbed but winning from it in a way.
Right? Like, your insurance cashed in, but alright, here, you're a billionaire for life. Well, probably not a billion, but...
I guess, you know, it's easy to take the moral high ground when you don't do that for a living, but... Yeah. I don't know, man. PUBG was fun. I don't know, it kind of sucks that it went in that direction.
It was a cool game. I mean, I booted it up the other day just for shits and giggles, but... I mean, if I was in their shoes... I'd cash out. You know? Yeah,
Apex was kind of the biggest nail in the coffin there by being the fact that it just keeps getting better and better. You had Fortnite, which did really well, and then you had the Black Ops 1 was better than that, and then now you have the Apex Legend, which is really, really good.
What are you going to improve on? What are you going to do?
You're not. You're just going to end up blowing money on an inferior version. Yeah. Money that you can just go ahead and live off of for the rest of your life. So, can't blame them. But sad news when a developer gives up and throws in the towel that aggressively.
I wouldn't say giving up. I think they cashed out. They took the chips they had and left the casino early.
Fair enough. They did try as long as they could. So
no, and they set the groundwork for something great. So
that they did.
Thanks, PUBG guys.
Yeah, you guys did more than you're giving credit for. That's for sure.
Enjoy your millions.
Exactly. DMC5 just recently dropped the Bloody Palace update for free. Bloody Palace being a very popular mode from the previous games, especially DMC4. Mm-hmm. Basically, extra trials mode where you can play as Dante, V, or Nero and go through 101 levels of fucking awesome fights, bullshit, and just basically all the frustration. That's really, really good, though. Yeah. And guess what?
Chicken butt.
Listen, I want to kill myself. Listen, AAA industry, guess what? It's a free update. It's possible to give away DLC for free, updates for free.
What?
It doesn't hurt people to actually give them stuff when they pay $60 for your fucking game.
Blasphemy.
So, it's really, really cool, though. I don't know, Bloody Palace is an awesome mode if you're, like you said, looking to get frustrated, but in a fun way. Kind of Dark Souls-ish.
Enjoyable, yeah.
Speaking of Dark Souls-ish, It hadn't been long since Sekiro's been out, and someone's already done a no-hit speed run.
Wow.
Despite it being considered the most difficult of the From Software games, YouTuber, I'm going to butcher his name, Horhoristo? Sorry if I fucked that up, but yeah, he did it. He did it. And not just did Mr. Horhoristo do it, but he actually did the no-hit run on New Game Plus 2, which means that everything was ramped up and more difficult already. And on top of that, he was able to do this all-boss don't get hit speed run on New Game Plus 2 in 45 minutes.
What the
Which is
fuck?
absolutely the absolute madman. He's done it. So
under an hour.
Congratulations.
Man.
Which segues, and it's still a hot topic, a bunch of people want baby mode in the game. Now, you have all sorts of arguments on whether or not easy mode should be implemented instead of having no difficulty mode. But I think, on a personal opinion of someone who's not necessarily good at the game but does like the games, I think it would take away from the charm.
Yeah, it was intentionally made to be difficult. Like
Difficult but not impossible.
Yeah, obviously.
Cuphead.
Cuphead's who has anyone ever beat Cuphead?
I don't know. They had a video I meant to watch recently where they tried to see if the developers could even beat it.
I love that shit. Can you play your own game?
Yeah, I should have actually checked that out. But yeah, I don't know.
No, don't.
I think
baby mode.
Yeah, I think that would take away from it. You have, I mean, there are articles out there. Some are on our site where they say no, it would take away from the charm of From Software games. But then you have other people who are like, an easy mode never hurt anybody, and it's just like, yeah, but you know, the behavior of rewarding people who suck at video games or rewarding people who are crying because it's too hard, I think that kind of setting that, like we've been liking to talk about precedents lately, and that precedent being set of if you cry enough or you suck enough at a game, they're going to make an even easier mode.
Here's your participation flag. Not even a trophy, just a little ribbon that says, you did a good job, bud. Like, not to be a dick, but, you know, we've been saying this for years, even since we were kids. Get good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's
I think
the point?
That's one of the things, for sure.
What's the point of wanting to beat the game if you're not willing to put in the effort to overcome the difficulty? It's like, it's a metaphor for life, you know? Like,
exactly.
People aren't just going to hand you something if you cry enough about it.
Exactly, and I just don't think that that's a good behavior to reward, so...
No, just get good.
Exactly. MK11 recently announced their character, what is it, Cetrion?
Yes, the female character, was it?
Yeah, the one, the plant lady?
Yeah.
Poison Ivy?
Yeah.
So she's been announced lately. She looks interesting. The trailer where she kind of floats in and then all the leaves and shit are growing around her. I think she's definitely an interesting character that Mortal Kombat doesn't really have. So that type or field of plant, is there a plant person in?
I mean, you had Devora. Devora, was that her name, with the bug lady with the last in MKX?
Yeah, you had Devora who was introduced, and I think she was pretty unique already.
She was very cool, yeah.
Yeah, so this seems like another shot at doing something really unique and cool. So I think that, you know, the funny thing is, me along with several other people on Twitter who apparently don't know how to read, when we saw the headline flash on our notifications, so many people thought it said character creation. Because it said MK11 character Cetrion. First of all, who the fuck names a thing like that? Yeah. But a lot of people assumed it was character creation, and it's funny. So you have other people like me who saw it and then pumped the brakes and then didn't end up saying anything. But you have other people who straight up... There was a tweet, and I'm sure there were several of them, but one I specifically saw that straight up said, how would you guys focus on making the game good and this character creation bullshit? And I was just like, man, I feel like such an asshole right now. And like tweeting at MK11 and never in the realm.
What a hot take. Good job, bud.
On a hot take by a blind person. But
I mean, that'd be cool. I love that in Souls, making stupid ass characters for funsies. But
yeah.
I mean, they have a set roster. You don't really... It'd be neat.
It would be.
It's not like it's going to be... Sorry, I'm just focusing on this guy's take now. It's not like it's going to be a bad game. It's MK.
Hell no.
Shut the hell up.
I know.
Person
you. But yeah, I just thought it was funny how many... I'm just glad I'm not the only person who doesn't know how to read on the internet.
No, yeah. So, that's all of us.
Which is good. Prince Harry taking on...
Speaking of...
I'm getting good. Prince Harry continuing his campaign against Fortnite... recently spoke at a YMCA event over in the old UK about the problems with Fortnite and its addictions. A study recently showed that was conducted in the UK that 61% of teens play Fortnite. And that the actual effect of it, and the reason that they do call it an actual addiction, is that 70% of dopamine is sometimes released when playing video games, and because of that, they are relating that kind of experience to getting addicted to the experience, which some people, I guess you could argue, are addicted to video gaming. But whether or not that's taking it a little too far, I just think it's funny how much Prince Harry wants Fortnite banned. I almost feel like Prince Harry lost online and hates it, and just like super salty now, and the way he's going to take it out is by having it banned from the UK as a drug substance.
It's like how everyone made fun of Ajit Pai, so he took away our internet.
Yeah, well, Ajit Pai is just a chode.
You're not comparing Prince Harry to Ajit Pai, but this is a little side. I guess in the most literal sense, it's an addiction in that people spend hours doing it, and there is a dopamine release. But I just want to say 61%, that seems like a low number. Really? Only 61% of UK teens are playing Fortnite?
Well,
good job resisting.
It's not Americans.
Yeah, so I say good job resisting.
99.9% of American teens play Fortnite, so there's that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Good job resisting, UK teens.
And for those people who are going to actually me on that clear joke, obviously it's not 99.9%, it's obviously 100%.
97.12.
Oh, God, probably. But, yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're having a boring week and you need to go take your angst out on something, lead your crusade against Fortnite.
Right. Continuing the fail train, we have Bethesda news. So the first part of it's going to be wholesome. Let's get the wholesome nonsense out of the way.
Okay.
This grandma that really likes Skyrim is apparently going to be put into Elder Scrolls 6 as an NPC.
Oh,
They're modeling her really cool.
Yeah,
that was really nice of them.
Nice.
She met Todd Howard and crew, and got to tour the studio, tell him how much she loves Skyrim, and
first
they revealed to her.
How many copies did she own?
Well, about as many as my age. So, she was very thrilled to be there, and they might put her in the game as an NPC. I don't know, that'd be really cool. A nice little service to a fan like that. So that's really, really nice.
Give her a quest, shit.
That'd be really cool, actually.
And make her the Night Mother.
Or something like, oh god, that'd be cool too.
That'd be nuts.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, something like that would be really, really cool. Speaking of Elder Scrolls 6, of course, let's segue into the not good news. Bethesda already announcing that at E3 this year, they will not be presenting anything from Elder Scrolls 6 at all. Nor will they be presenting anything from Starfield, which is essentially their upcoming version of No Man's Sky, which will probably be just as desolate as No Man's Sky or worse.
Bethesda, so.
But, it does. Starfield seems like it could be cool if it's basically Skyrim or Fallout in space. So we'll see. I mean,
you mean Outer Worlds?
Yeah, basically. but it's not not Wasteland looking like.
It's actual adventure.
Yeah. So. We'll see. I mean, that would be kind of cool to have Bethesda's take on Star Wars, I guess. Like, that could be really cool.
Ooh, laser swords. How much are you going to pay
or
for
anything like that? I know. But we'll see. But they did announce that E3... basically, Bethesda should have just said they're not going to have an E3 presence at all. I don't know what nonsense they're going to actually show.
Yeah, seriously, why go?
Maybe the latest Wolfenstein game or something, a trailer from that, but I don't know.
Didn't Sony say they were just going to pass this year?
Sony, I think, wants to do what Microsoft did last year. Oh, Sony copying Microsoft. Jesus Christ, go figure.
Surprise.
But they want to do their own meme instead of participating at E3. But I don't know if Microsoft definitely doesn't have enough ammunition to hold on their own. Mm-mm. I don't know what Sony could show either. Sony doesn't have that much coming out where they can basically do their own... I mean, if they just do like a live stream online presentation, I can see that. But if they try to do their own convention, I don't know about that. I don't think they have that much to show.
Yeah.
Speaking of not having anything to show, Final Fantasy VII Remake still continues its time and development hell. It was originally announced back in 2015 and has showed fuck all for it ever since it was announced back then. First of all, everyone knows that I'm a proprietor, that it should just not happen.
Agreed.
I think that the remake of the game is silly and that they shouldn't do any of them. If they do, it should be 8 or 9, but I just think that any of those remakes are unnecessary. Of course, 8 having trouble being ported, because a lot of people keep saying, it's because it sucks. The actual reason, the reason that Final Fantasy 8 is being, not being ported like the rest of them, because they announced all the Final Fantasy games coming to Switch basically and Xbox One, is because A lot of people believe, and I think it's a good belief, that a lot of the pre-rendered backgrounds and assets have been lost. And that's why they can't do it, because everything else they're just upscaling. Yeah. These are all the original 7 and 9 textures, just uncompressed and upscaled because they're not on such a small disk anymore. They're either on Blu-ray or being directly installed on the hard drive if you go digital. And Final Fantasy VIII doesn't have those assets to upscale. And you don't want to release the original aspect ratio because it's going to look like shit on HD TVs. So right now they're having to sit on that train, but I wish they would be able to rebuild those because Final Fantasy VIII was cool. So hopefully that, that's able to eventually get ported out, because I think there's some people who actually want to have a challenge in a game would actually enjoy that.
No, I want baby mode though.
So yeah,
but remastered 8 and 9 would be great.
That would be really, really cool. But again, I just don't think any of them should be remastered. These up ports, these forward ports are kind of cool, but I don't think that they should be fully redone like they're doing with 7. But 7 is the most popular one, so I suppose I can see it from a business cash grab standpoint. But anyways, it continues its time in development hell, having not much to show since 2015. Recently, the only thing they announced before the recent news was that CyberConnect 2, people who did Azura's Wrath and Naruto games, so not much of a resume there. We're going to be working on. We're going to be working in conjunction with Square Enix on the game. And recently, Naoki Hamaguchi, the Final Fantasy XIII programmer, another reputable person, has also announced that they've been tacked on to there. But the 13, 2, and 3 were fine. But I don't know. Just odd news to announce in the sense of, I guess they're just trying to show that something's happening in the development of it.
Yeah.
But they have not much to show, and I don't believe they're going to show anything at E3 either. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake continuing to not exist, essentially. So, I don't know. I mean, again, I could go with or without. I could take it or leave it.
I could definitely leave it.
So, I really could care less.
Yeah, it never appealed to me. It wasn't my game. Like, I got in with 10, and then I played 9 and 8, and 7 was like, eh.
Yeah, basically.
That's my take.
Yeah. 12's great, though. I'm glad that 12 is finally being ported up to the latest consoles, because a lot of people I know did not play 12, and so now people are getting the chance to, and I'm really, really happy about that, because 12 was great. Definitely, a lot of people would say 9. I think 12 is the most underrated Final Fantasy game of all time.
It's
so
I'm glad that people are right?
No, that's 13.
Okay.
So that shows you how underrated it is, because I bet you can't even name the main character of 12. So, and you're not alone. That's actually most people. So I'm glad that those are starting to come out and again and being able to be played by people now.
Is it Sephiroth?
Yeah, it's Sephiroth, which is great. BioWare in the news again for Anthem.
Oh no! Why? What happened
Lately,
now?
It's been Anthem versus Kotaku. So Kotaku wrote a expose piece, a really good one lately, about the Anthem shortcomings, and kind of talking about, it basically being the management's irresponsibility causing them to make bad decisions that have been affecting the game negatively. And Jason Schreier has basically said that, it's all slander, although it's true, but slander.
Were they
and that basically not making he was basically saying that there's no need for negative press in the press, and that things like these are not helping anybody and only hurting everybody, although I think that has nothing to do with, I don't know. It's clearly just someone who got really offended that someone was telling him the truth, because nothing hurts more than the truth.
Yeah.
But basically, Kotaku was basically highlighting that the incompetence of the people running the company is actually what's going to end up destroying the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was because of that or they were going to do it anyways, but BioWare has kind of tried to save face, probably for the shareholders' sake, and for their own sake, that EA doesn't just murder them, that they're still doing fine, because despite all of the Anthem shenanigans, they've actually announced that Dragon Age 4 has finally entered pre-production and will be coming out in the next couple of years. So we'll see.
Really? All right.
As long as they don't destroy it with microtransaction nonsense or deciding to take a route in which they don't focus on the story, because we all saw how well that worked out with Anthem, this is a good thing. Dragon Age 4, I think, is what most people that are fans of BioWare actually want, and that Anthem was just that horseshit bump that got in the way, kind of like how everyone wanted Elder Scrolls 6, but Fallout 76 came out.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where hopefully they get back on track with that. I think this is a very brutal lesson for BioWare, but I hope a good lesson in terms for their future. So, I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't collapse them.
Entering the news again, Borderlands 3. I know a lot of you guys are excited for it.
Yes.
We're excited for it. Not starting off on a good foot, though. Not doing very well there. Ever since PAX East, a lot of shit's been going wrong, aside a lukewarm trailer. So Randy Pitchford recently, almost as if addressing mine and several people's concerns about the game, already did say that for sure it's not going to be Battle Royale nonsense. However, didn't say that there wouldn't be microtransactions. Definitely didn't do that, so we'll see.
Come on, man. Don't fuck it up.
The next thing is what they announced at PAX East. So they have this grandiose trailer. Everything's coming out. Going to come out September 13th as an Epic Game Store exclusive. So, Borderlands 3 joining the flock of people rushing over to be exclusive to the Epic Game Store. Once again, sucking up them sweet Fortnite dollars. And because of that, Borderlands 3 joins the fold and will be exclusive to the Epic Game Store and when it comes out on September 13th. And will be exclusive there until 2020. At some period in the beginning of 2020, PC players will finally be able to play Borderlands 3 6+ months after everyone else has already beaten it, for those who cave in and get it launched on the Epic Game Store. So, there's that. That's great how they announced it too. It was just... their PAX trailer is supposed to be this fucking epic thing, you know, everyone's hyped, and then that's how they fuck it. By the way, guys, get hyped for Epic Games Store exclusive.
Cheers, crickets.
Like, it's just like, basically, it's almost like a minor level of fucking the Diablo trailer, like when the people announced the Diablo Mobile.
Don't you have phones?
Like, oh, you guys love Diablo? Get ready for Diablo Mobile! And it's like, why would you guys do that? Like, I just don't it's a
bait and switch.
These fucking people, these video game dickbags are so disconnected from reality and fucking the gamers and everything that the fact that they think anyone would actually want this shit or get into it and then try to line it like it's a cool perk as opposed to the fact that they want the monies is insane.
Well, yeah, it's a Konami method, you know, just fuck your franchise, make mobile games, and do pachinko machines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A supposed anonymous tip from a supposed employee for Gearbox recently reached out to several prominent YouTubers as well as on Twitter to kind of explain recently that Randy Pitchford has not been the best guy. He's been trying to kind of take the ground as if he's not involved in any of the bad decisions that's happening. He's kind of taken the tail between his legs and run off saying that, well, you know, I'm not the one who made the Epic Games exclusive for exclusive decision or anything bad. Anything bad? Hey guys, anything bad that might happen, wasn't me.
Yeah.
No, what happened? I didn't do it. It's not me, guys. But according to this guy, he is actually the forefront that has been actually causing a lot of this bullshit to happen. According to this anonymous employee, they have a 15-hour campaign done for Borderlands 3. Nice. However, the reason that the game is taking longer than intended to come out is because Randy Pitchford and crew is forcing them to make over 50 hours of online shenanigans and nonsense, instead of focusing on making the 15-hour campaign more solid and having everything good in there. Apparently, they're not allowed to talk about any of this stuff, which is why he took to social media on, you know, anonymity. That word?
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and on top of that, apparently they've all been forced to work over 50 hours a week without proper compensation, which is kind of a
Rockstar thing to do.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where some of the Rockstar employees were like, yeah, no, we didn't want to do that. Whereas everyone, or other people were like, no, man, our employees were totally down. And then, of course, not also mentioning the fact that it was only a handful of people that were working that and not everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a mess on that. And this is kind of like that similar thing where it's, I don't know, man, I'm telling you, man, watch microtransactions come to Borderlands 3.
That's all we fucking need. Then this microtransaction exclusivity war, like, why? Why are you doing this to us?
Yep.
Why do we have to suffer for your greed?
And continuing to suffer from greed is more Borderlands 3 news, buddy. I got more of it for you. As if you weren't enjoying me shoveling diarrhea on top of your fucking breakfast. We also have the fact that they've announced the pre-order bonuses for Borderlands 3.
Oh, great. That's what I love.
This is it. That's how you know a game is about to give you your $60 worth, is when you got pre-order bonuses. Now, of course, pre-order bonuses, of course, is from all sorts of good and bad developers. It's just become this industry norm, unfortunately.
Do I get a nylon bag?
Here we go, guys. Wait for it. As if it's never been done before. Golden guns.
What? Whoa. Really?
I know. It's not like Gears of War.
Real gold?
Epic Games / Gears of War. It's not like they've never done it before. Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, golden guns.
Golden guns?
That's not how you do it. That's what an asshole. And it's even worse is, at least in Gears of War, when the golden guns came out, you couldn't buy that afterwards. If you didn't get a first run copy of the game, you didn't get the golden guns ever again.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you knew who forked out the dough.
Yeah, exactly.
Call it toolish or not. That was on there, and that's how you got it. This one I can almost guarantee is probably going to be sold in post as DLC.
Oh yeah, of course.
So just that's the nature of the game now.
Remember
it's like when Forza had the exclusive cars, and then you could just buy them all.
Remember when you got a golden gun by beating the game?
Oh God, dear God! But yeah,
Really?
That's how you do a bad pre-order bonus.
Is that the only pre-order bonus?
How do you do a good pre-order bonus? You take notes from Bethesda, and Rage 2. Rage 2 announcing the fact that the pre-order bonus will allow you to have the NBA Jam announcer dictate all your moves that you do in Rage 2. From being on fire by setting off people with a rocket launcher or flamethrower, as well as shooting people from across the map and getting a headshot. The actual original voice of NBA Jam's announcer will be coming back to do exclusive voiceover for Rage 2, and a mode that you can turn on to have him dictate your moves as you do them in the game as a pre-order bonus. Now that is a true pre-order bonus.
Wow, I'm sold.
I would. Rage 2 already looked great. That's just fucking the memery there. Is just
That's so.
It's such a good move.
I like that.
More related things is the fact that Gearbox, of course, being, doing all these shenanigans with Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
I mentioned that they had worked on Duke Nukem Forever and Battleborn. But you know what I forgot to mention? The actual crime, like a real non-hyperbole crime they committed in Alien Colonial Marines, where the game was such a lie that they were actually taken to court over releasing a game that didn't even match anything close to the pre-production.
Yeah.
And so this is that company. So I guess you really shouldn't be surprised that they're pulling this bullshit with Borderlands 3, despite it being... everyone was already so hyped, and then you just take this great game, and then you're just already making people worried. Could still be good, I just don't like the decisions surrounding it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not pleased with it. Just give us a campaign. That's all Borderlands is.
Did you notice also that the guy in the trailer... Remember, they're collaborating with Epic Games to do this timed exclusive.
Yeah.
But did you notice that the guy playing the sax in the trailer looks like Marcus Phoenix?
Yeah, it's what's it, Brick?
Yeah, but I mean, is he supposed to look that much like Marcus Phoenix? Is that a meme?
I don't know. If he has the chest piece with the circle boobs,
there you go.
Maybe
that
we'll
would be the one. Yeah. And then Dom crying next to him as the worst escort mission, where it's the whole game. I still love that everyone calls any moment with Dom an escort mission. That shit's the best.
But it's that's all Gears 2 is.
That's Gears 2 is the biggest escort mission of all time.
And then there's an Easter egg in Borderlands 3 where you open a chest and it's somebody's dead wife.
So Epic Games, of course, stealing all this bullshit. And another thing that they mentioned recently, I believe it was one of the CEOs at Epic Games had said that they're willing to make deals with Steam, though. Just because there are certain games that are going to be exclusive on Epic doesn't mean that Steam can't do a kick out and get some on there. But I don't know. This seems like a real horseshit dick move.
Yeah. To
kind of tease that, where he's basically like, yeah, not just are we solidifying all these by undercutting you, you can get a little bit of pie if you pay a bit more. It's just like,
Jesus.
nice, dude. Nice, dude.
Yeah, we factor no consideration to any other moves.
Taste, man.
Fuck the gamers.
Also, this actually just launched a little bit. This news actually kind of leaking out as we're recording this, but apparently, according to a Microsoft Store listing for Borderlands 3, we'll have crossplay. Potentially on all platforms.
What?
That's a leak. I think the listing was accidentally leaked out earlier than intended, but if that's the case...
Wow.
We'll see.
So PlayStation's getting on board with that? Really?
We'll see.
Okay.
And if they are, Lag City. Unless they're going to collab with Microsoft on fixing that. But we'll see.
No.
But we will see, though. I mean, not that, but we'll see on a crossplay. We'll see if that ends up being true or if that was a mistake in the listing. But
maybe
that would be
just
interesting.
meant PC and... I mean, PC
yeah,
and
which they have done
already.
before, so it's possible.
That's not new, but okay, cool.
So yeah, crossplay coming to Borderlands 3. That's probably the only good news on that docket in terms of that. Moving on, we have Amy Hennig of Naughty Dog fame, writing a lot of the great stories of the Naughty Dog games. She recently had a very, very intriguing good interview. I'm going to link it below. If you guys have not seen that interview, totally worth checking out. But she basically talked about, everyone complains of games as a service, as me and every other fucking game journalist has been doing over the past, forever now, and the roadmap bullshit and all that stuff. But she did make a very good point that it's actually people losing interest or not finishing narrative games and single-player games that are causing that. People being bored with these otherwise great games. She brought a very good example of Red Dead Redemption 2 lately as a great example. The campaign takes about 40 average hours to beat, and that's like a no-nonsense playthrough of actually playing the game properly. Uh-huh. And with that being the case, she made a very good point of how many people actually finished the campaign. I didn't even fucking finish the campaign. It took too long. And she talked about how because of things like that, despite how good these games are, people losing interest in narrative like that is what's causing people to make bullshit games. And these games as a service stuff like Anthem is being caused by people like that. Which happened to sometimes, like me, people were complaining about it. I really didn't realize that I was helping perpetuate this kind of behavior in the industry. So it was a very, very good piece where she talks about that. I found it really eye-opening, especially hearing from someone. And you can only imagine from her point of view how that must feel. You write games like Last of Us, Uncharted, and everything, and that there are tons of people out there who aren't even finishing your game or playing them, or in worst-case scenarios, even buying them anymore.
Yeah.
The single-player narrative game, these rich experiences that we've kind of grown to love, like how much I loved Sleeping Dogs, are starting to become a rare breed and die off. So, I don't know. What's your take on the narrative kind of taking a backseat to games as a service and things like Fortnite and Anthem kind of taking over where games like Uncharted and Last of Us once lived?
I mean, you see it more and more, and you've seen it for a while. Call of Duty's a big one where single-player campaign is just kind of taken a backseat to the multiplayer. Even Halo 5 is guilty of that. Like, a lot of the things we hate
Battlefield
is the fucking narrative. They fucked up the story, but the multiplayer is fantastic. We had no problem with that, but it's almost like they just cashed it in, which is terrible because this is a franchise you've inherited, and you need to focus on the story in that instance. But overall, I think games as a service and the battle arena and the multiplayer focused games are king right now.
Yes.
Which sucks because Last of Us is a fantastic story, Uncharted, fantastic story. What I heard from Senua, which was supposed to be this great narrative, is that it got boring fast. Which is what you run into if your narrative isn't compelling. And the gameplay goes hand in hand with that.
Of course.
If it's not fun to do, which is where, going back to Darkborn, that looks like it's going to be a great story. Could be interesting, very 80s Jim Henson Dark Crystal Labyrinth style, right? Mm-hmm. But set in a Norse world, which is one of the backdrops that's prevalent now.
Right.
But if the gameplay isn't fun, if it gets repetitive, then nobody's going to finish it.
Exactly, which was to my point from earlier. So yeah, definitely. No, you're absolutely right. So I don't know, we'll see. But it is kind of sad though, because the game industry has realized they can make money without having to try as hard.
I think it is sad. It's like reading. Nobody reads anymore because people want digestible bits.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
They'd rather just watch a fucking Vine to figure it out instead of actually reading a proper book.
No, multiplayer is a great example of that because, you play for a little bit, you die, you come back. Repeat. It's like, was that Edge of Tomorrow movie?
You play 5 minutes and you give up.
Yeah.
And you're done. Do a fucking... I think they said the average Fortnite round is like 20 minutes or something, like 15, 20 minutes, and then that's it. Then you're done.
Think how arduous doing like a control map on what's the Egyptian map in Overwatch?
Oasis?
Anubis? Yeah, Anubis? Correct me if I'm wrong. Anubis. Think how arduous that is. Remember in Comp, getting stuck there and having to go back and forth, and having these like 15, 20-minute matches.
Right.
Yeah, and even I don't mind playing narrative games. I like that, but I'm still guilty of that myself, so.
It's true. That is true. Shouts out to Amy Hennig for making a really good point and pointing out the dark flaw in the game industry right now being kind of somewhat caused by the consumerism of being bored so quickly.
No, I'd like to read the article, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's actually a really good interview. I don't know if they have an article form, but I'll send you the video later. Again, I'll link it in the description below for everybody so they can check it out. It was a very, very good interview. She gets very heartfelt on that. So, and with that, we enter our final topic of the day. We have GameStop in the news.
Oof.
Is it going to be good? Probably not. I said GameStop already.
Yeah, alright.
So, the main question I'm going to focus on, and then the thing I'm going to talk about later, is I'm going to talk about the news, and then I'm going to go into the question, which is there room for a platform like GameStop still? Should it exist? And how can it be fixed, if at all, if it's broken? But we'll get into that in a little bit. But I do want to hear your guys' input on GameStop's type stores and GameStop itself. Because to be fair, they did, when it was EB and GameStop, kind of started this industry. Of course, it's still EB overseas. I'm going to do that for anyone who's going to actually me on that one. Yeah. But, you know, they are still a unique business. Whether or not it's a good business model is somewhat to, you know. But if you think about it, there's not too many places. You have Best Buy trying to do used games and stuff like that. But, I mean, anyways, that detracts from the point. Yeah. So, GameStop, of course, reported that they are $673 million down from the last year's profits. Of course, they're still a billion-dollar company regardless.
Somehow.
But they are continuing to go down the dark road. I know that they've been wanting to close off locations. They either have or are thinking about filing for bankruptcy because they're going down that dark path and just not doing too well. But at the same time, I can't blame people. If you think about it, you want to save $5 on a game or just fork it out. Most of the people are going, I go digital. Most of my stuff is just digital now. The convenience, everything about it is just so much better. And better value, I feel.
Yeah, same.
Especially because you know that they're buying these games from you and then reselling them for almost full price is just ridiculous. A brand new game is bought from you for about $30, $35 and then sold for $55 is ridiculous.
Someone tried to make a counter argument with me going back to digital that, well, what if your system crashes, you can't play your game? Well, you can't do that with a fucking physical disc either. So
yeah, I was going to say.
What's your point?
If your system... Wait, what the fuck kind of argument is that?
I know someone was,
that actually makes no sense.
What if your system fucks up? Well, you're fucked both ways.
What if your car runs low on gas? Then I put more, idiot. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
That is so stupid.
I know. I just wanted to put that in there because I thought you guys might enjoy that. That was funny. But I'm digital too. You know, I don't see the need for a physical copy anymore.
There's actually no point because most times when you buy a physical copy, not just does it do what Fallout 76 did, which is give you a download code anyways.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oof.
But what else it does is the fact that it's usually just a shitty plastic case with the outer sleeve now, and then a little warning or how to download the manual packet. Not even a manual anymore. So there really is no point.
There's no point. No, but I'm more in the digital realm anyway. You know, I'm not much for physical media. I don't like the clutter it presents. Like, I have a stack of game cases that are just cases because they're steelbooks and it was pretty and that was a nice aesthetic. But it's like, what am I doing with them? You know, it's not even as an art piece.
Right, exactly. Going back to that, PS4, goddammit. Actually, it does have to do with PS4 because GameStop is still selling PS4 download codes and not giving a fuck. Because I guess at this point, they might as well get all the money that they can. So despite the fact that Sony has said that they're going to stop selling at retailers, GameStop just shrugged and continued selling PS4 download codes anyway.
I'm so for that. Good job, GameStop. I'm pretty proud of you.
So my page has been around, and I hope that no one ever finds on Facebook, but it's been an anti-GameStop one that I've had since like 2001 or some shit like that. I don't know, the GameStop model's just never been a good one. They've always been known for scamming their fan base. Jesus, their clientele.
Scam. It's like, it's a direct fuck you.
Basically.
Yeah.
And of course, we've both worked for them at one point or another.
This is true.
And I don't know. We obviously, can we think realistically and objectively, can we think of any redeeming qualities of that industry? I mean, why should GameStop be saved?
There's a lot of arguments made. Well, what if they gave you 50% for your game? Yeah, but then they don't make profit. and
they'll die anyway.
Yeah, that's not how you make. That does not a good business make. But I guess the one positive argument is it provides the ability for someone who, say, is less well off to afford to play and have what everyone else has, but at a cheaper rate. You know, you buy pre-owned. At least you get somewhat of a discount. So
past a certain you're right. Past a certain spectrum, the game, the physical pre-owned game, does start, unless it's Nintendo where they retain their value so well, the price doesn't drop.
Yeah.
But for Xbox and PlayStation, like most people, yeah, you're right. After a certain part, there's a diminishing return where the games actually do cost less than it would digitally.
Yeah.
You can go get, let's say, this is just a made-up bullshit number, but I'm just going to use an example. You can go get a pre-owned copy of Yakuza Kiwami, let's say, for $20 pre-owned, or $40 brand new digital. Now at that point, you've now invented a part where buying pre-owned from GameStop actually is beneficial to you financially than spending the $40 to have it digital on the PlayStation Store or otherwise.
I'll give you a direct example. I actually just did this before the launch of DMC5. I was going to buy the online version of the DMC collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was something like $24 at the time on the Xbox Marketplace.
Right.
A friend of mine works at GameStop, so I went in, see what they had. And apparently I had a coupon from way back in the day. I didn't even know I still had a membership there, to be honest, but apparently I did. And I got the game, the physical copy, for like $12. So, you know, I essentially saved 50%.
Right.
Yeah, so it wasn't that bad.
So in times like that, it is more beneficial.
But that's like a one-off, you know, because most of the time I do just buy... Because the marketplace always has sales. Things are always dropping in price.
Right.
And if you're patient, you know, it can benefit you more to go digital. For my own personal reasons, I like that. Like I said, no clutter and just having it there, the convenience. My one gripe with GameStop is the Pro Card, or whatever they call it now. The
scamish membership.
Yeah, that is a scam. Like, you receive very I mean, if you're a big Game Informer fan, that's cool, and I do like Game Informer, but what are you going to learn there that you can't learn? I mean, you get their editors and writers' input versus someone else, but all that you can learn elsewhere. It was cool when I was younger because I didn't have internet access myself, but
right.
Now it just seems, well, why am I paying for this? $15 a year. It's not a big number, but do you need it? Are you going to spend that much money? You don't get that much of a return.
You're right. That's true. And I think that's where that business does suffer, is it's programs like that. And I think that the reason the business is going to tank is that they kind of rely on making their money off of buying back games that just launched, as opposed to the stuff that's been sitting there on their shelves. You know, like most retailers, the reason that they heavily discount the older games is because it's actually costing them more money to keep them on their shelf than it is to just go ahead and get rid of it. But their real money in the bank, I think, is whenever they sell you Sekiro, and then when you suck at it and you return it the next day and they give you or sell it back, or when you beat it or whatever and they give you $35 for it, then they can sell it for $55, which is actually realistic. In the first months of a game's life cycle, that usually is actually the realistic equation.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So
to a T.
Exactly. So with that being the case, I think that's where they make most of the money off, and that's where people don't want to support them anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's really going to continue for much longer.
No, and I think their whole scam, once a game is open, like, you can't return it new, even though you just bought it. Yeah, I get that. But come on, like, give them like a 2-day pass or something, you know.
Or you'll give them maybe a little bit more than $35.
Yeah, exactly. At least give them, you know, $5 less than what they paid for it.
Yeah.
Which we have done before in the past, because someone, you know, you don't want them to call corporate and bitch, but...
Yeah, but that's different. That's to the point where that's just because the person's playing the system.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying that should be the standard.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree. Something like that. They definitely need to make adjustments to get with today's times and industry, or else that's not going to work out for them.
Oh, I'm surprised I haven't died already. Shoot.
Yeah, that's actually... Yeah, no, it is a surprise, and I think what a lot of people have been expecting for a while. But yeah, I mean, that's it. So with that being the case, everyone, tell us your feedback. What do you think? Should GameStop survive? Should it not? Your arguments either way. Let us know. If you do have an email of that or anything else, make sure to contact us at disconnectedcast disconnectedcastmail@gmail.com. Once again, that's disconnectedcastmail@gmail.com. And before we do go, John, have you ever heard of Radio Public?
I have not, Patrick. What is Radio Public?
Radio Public is a podcast streaming site and app on Android and iOS where you can listen to a lot of great podcasts, including our own on there. And when you do that, it does directly support the artists. So make sure to check it out at our link below. And where can our lovely listeners find you, Mr. John, on social media?
They can find me on Instagram at disasterman_music or Twitter at evildeadguy.
Any projects? What's coming in? What's coming out?
Just the EP, polishing that up, and be on the lookout sometime in the near future, hopefully by August, September, for a little book called Trips I've Taken.
There you go. Definitely want to check that out, everybody. And whenever John does put that stuff on sale, we will also have that available for you all to check out. So other than that, you can find me on @ZDRocker pretty much everywhere, and the rest of my endeavors on SlimAsianEntertainment.com. And you can find all these episodes of the podcast, past and future, at DisconnectedCast.com. Other than that, we will see you guys next week, Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time as always. And until then, we will catch you guys later.
Have a great week, y'all.
See ya.